Check this out, boys and girls. I've just made a 1x1. No, but seriously guys, I made a 1x1 and it is fucking cool. Today's video is sponsored by me and Epic Desk. We made some merch. A little bit more on that later. The base that we have got for you guys today is another second floor open core snowball type base. This base has been tried and tested by me and my friend on a live server, and there should be a nice cheeky stress testing video coming out on this base not long after this video. So I can confirm that this base was fun to live out of and the starter was easy to progress through. Getting the whole base down was easy peasy. Alright, let's jump on with the tour of the base. This is a little cheeky outside view, and of course we've got the Satori disconnectable, the standard stuff. Doors on there, and this is how you disconnect it if somehow you do not know. Get that roof down, disconnect, and we can replace it super easy. Of course there's 2 of them, so 3 TCs in total. And we'll head in the gatehouse, super basic, windows to see in, windows to see out. And we can take a small look up at the base just to see all the wide gap angles we have inside the compound. This compound's a little bit different. I've tried to make it kind of like useful. That's what I've found I've needed in my wipes. So we have bedrooms scattered throughout the compound. And we've also got breach peaks on the sides that have no visibility. So we can roughly know what's going on around the compound at all times. Another look up at the base shows us the angles again. And these are our breach peaks that are outside. Just checking to see if anyone's going about in the compound. So in total there's 4 bedrooms, allowing 2 beds in each slot, so you can do the math on that. 1 locker between each double bedroom. Boys and girls, I am properly excited. Currently sat on my desk is a work of art that's been printed on pure premium quality, manufactured by the best. Epic Desk and I have joined forces to create a desk mat of pure perfection, and if you guys choose to purchase one, know that you'll be helping out the channel massively. The print quality and stitching is flawless, and the dimensions are exactly what Rust players need to take on the new spray patterns. This mat represents my brand new movie, and I just want you guys to know that there are no logos present, because this is a mat made by a Rust player for Rust players. Hit the link in the description and visit the pre-order page now. The collaboration won't last forever, you guys, because this product is limited. The company founder signs and numbers every mat that is made, so let me know which number you guys get. Cheers boys and girls, let's get back to the tour. Now we can head into our main airlock that also leads into our starter base. Obviously one of them leads into starter, one of them doesn't, and they're both mobility chutes of course as well. The airlock takes us in, that's our safe starter, and there's lots of box space inside of here. Super easy to expand out of. That was one of the things that I really liked about this starter, is there's so many boxes, and there's a nice slot for your furnaces to keep out the way. That's your main TC upkeep right there, assuming you upgrade everything exactly the same as I did. So yeah, that's our starter. Super simple and nice to live out of. We'll head up the mobility chute now. These mobility chutes lead all the way up to shooting floor. Heading through that ladder hatch there will take us inside to the shooting floor. And we've got a window here to help defend the open core. But let's head through this door and take a look at the OC. So the thing I like about this open core is it does feel open, but at the same time each loot room is guarded by 2 garage doors, and they're all spread out nice and evenly, which makes it actually quite a strong open core. Then we have space in the middle for some beds, and there's furnaces here, or you can put vending machines to flex loot if that's something you like to do. And yeah, we've got some nice big loot rooms, 30 boxes in total in this area. And if you jump on top, this is the nice place to AFK. Up beside the turrets, this is where you're out of the way. So if you find yourself AFKing, do it up there, out of the way. Don't be annoying your team. Head down the other chute. As you can see, we have another front door, but it doesn't go to starter. Still brings us up to open core and shooting floor though. Let's head on up the ladder hatch now, and it takes us to this little segment here. With the doors closed, this area is still quite strong. And we've got another airlock that takes us into our defendability point, and we've got some more bedrooms up here. Inside the bedroom we have 2 boxes, 1 box per bed, and if you take this window off we have an ankle biter to help defend this floor in case of a top down, or if they're trying to take control of your shooting floor. And you can also take the embrasure off and it looks into open core as well. Another bedroom over here, exact same thing, so all your players can be bagged up at the top. Nice easy respawns, and make sure you keep some kits up here. Then we've got our ramp peak down, and that sees the majority of the open core. It also looks right at the single door, so if they are door raiding, you have a nice angle to look down on raiders pushing through into the open core. That's that section there. We've also got a window to look outside before we push out. And then we're into the shooting floor. Now the shooting floor, of course, is wide gapped. We've got all the angles that we need. And now we've thrown down all of these ramps because you need to crouch to control the AK. And some of the other guns have got some new spray patterns. So it's just good to be able to crouch and still look out of your windows. So get those ramps down. And inside the shooting floor, another bedroom. This place is filled with respawns. There's no excuses to lose an online raid in this one. As long as you're storing your kits in all these bedrooms I've supplied, there's no way you can lose. Now we've got a roof peak up, just a siren light standard one. There's 2 of them that hold the roof. And you've got your angles there. A couple of hidden boxes in shooting floor. If you're doing some roof camping with the M2 and you want to depot it before you run outside to loot people, just slap it up there. It's hidden away enough and it's defended. People can't just come on your shooting floor and grab that. They're not going to spot it too easily. Another bedroom around the backside there, and then we can head up our ladder hatch to the roof. So this is our roof, nice and open. 2 turrets guard this floor pretty well. You can slap a couple more turrets down if you find you've got some spare ones. And we've got 2 windmills symmetrical on top of the base. That should power everything you need. If not, you can get a couple more down. I'm sure you'll also see that we have 2 castle style places off to the side. And these are actually even more bedrooms that we have on the roof. And it's just 1 locker, 1 bed on here. And the windows let us see our hidden boxes as well. You can access bedrooms on the shooting floor, bedrooms on the roof, bedrooms in open core, and bedrooms above. So we've got a lot of bedrooms, basically. Okay, and let's jump onto the build costs of the base. This is everything that you saw on the tour. That's what you'll need to build it. Second up is the box amounts. This is just so you guys can visualize easier what the actual base cost is. And lastly is the total upkeep. This can be spread between 3 TCs. Your main TC, of course, taking up the majority of that upkeep, whilst the externals are upkeeping your wide gaps. Now you guys know what the base looks like, what you need to build it. So let's get on to how to build it. Alright, so we're going to start the base off with a square because it's 1 by 1. Psych! We're starting off with a triangle. Get pranked. Then you can wall in this square. And that square, we have a loot room and now a TC place as well. TC on the left, loot room on the right. Place down your TC, make sure you lock it. It's a multi-TC base, so lock your TC. Get your loot rooms in, ramps for honeycombing, and get your doors down. And I'll show you what it costs to build that little starter. Boom, that's what you need. Easy, get that down. Then we expand the starter to make it even bigger. Let's get 2 more loot rooms over here. Exact same style as the first loot room that we built. Get your ramps in again, don't forget them. And get a floor on top. Your doors in. And then we can go on to build 1 more loot room over here. A 3 triangle loot room. And this one's going to get a window in front instead of a door so that we get that honeycombing again. So that's to replace the ramps, you know, it's like honeycombing with the window and the floor in there. And then we can get a furnace on the right and some doorways through to the left. And that's like the large stars. So when I built this base, we actually put that whole thing down at once. But you guys can do the smaller one if you don't have that much materials handy. And boom, that's what you need for that if you were going to build it that way. Let's expand it a little bit more with some foundations, and this is our mobility chute. Get our double doors in there and a half-height jump up. And then floors on top, and we'll build another one on the opposite side. Base is symmetrical by 2, so let's keep that in mind while we're building. Exact same thing again over here. And those floors again. I'm going to throw down the rest of the foundations for the honeycombing, so you guys know exactly how big the footprint gets. We get 2 triangles there, and then a triangle covering each square in order to honeycomb the base and the loot rooms. So all the way around like that. That's the majority of the foundations. There's like a couple more that we'll add in for shooting floor. But now that the footprint's set, let's get our external TCs down so that we can claim the base. In order to do that, we're just going to do our wide gapping now. Just get it out the way nice and early. Doesn't cost too much to put these foundations down, so just I'm building it nice and slow so you guys can see. Not changing the angle up at all, so hopefully it's easy to follow. We're just following a little pattern, making square gaps essentially up against the base. And we'll throw in that triangle there as well. Get that last triangle in there. And that one as well. And then that's all we need to do on this side of the base. Let's do the other half. And then we can join them all up in the middle from main TC. Just doing the exact same thing again, so it's the 3 square wide gap method, in case I didn't mention that already. And then we're just making those square gaps that you can see up against the base, following around the exact same pattern as last time. And we'll place in these last triangles and then we can join it up from main base. You can see we're going to close that gap with a couple of triangles around like that just to make a hexagon. And that's all the foundations we need for our shooting floor. Boom. Okay, so that's as big as it gets really until we start working on compound, which is like near the end of the video. So you don't need to worry about expanding the main base any further than that. Right now, all of these wide gap triangles are decaying. They don't count as touching, so let's join them up first with frames. Because those are not connections, to be clear. And then those frames are all joined up. They need to be meeting in the middle now, so we'll add 2 more. And a low wall to connect everything. Now, it's still all decaying. We're going to need to bring this along to a gatehouse, then an external TC. So that's what we're doing now. This is our gatehouse. And then for external TC, we're going to come out 1 square and 3 triangles. 1 square, 3 triangles, sorry. Like that. And then that 4th triangle there was the external TC. Don't forget the double half wall. That's the only thing that can really go wrong here. Just remember to get a double half wall in, that's for lack of stability. And we'll slap a TC down and a couple of single doors. And then we can join it up with some frames, just the same build out that we did as foundations. Place those windows in for stability first, and then you'll be able to connect it all up. And boom. We'll finish off our gatehouse. And then there's 2 more frames we're going to place in that you don't want to forget. And I'm just going to place them now. These 2 here. Now everything is connected and there will be no decaying. So make sure you got all that in. If you're having problems with decay, just watch it back, make sure you've got all the frames in, they're all needed. And then the base is symmetrical by 2, so let's do it all again, all on the opposite side. Getting our frames down, just watch it back, make sure you don't miss any because they're all important. And then we can build back out towards the gatehouse again. Super basic gatehouse, so you can swap this out with any style of gatehouse you prefer. If you want to do some pixel bunker stuff or something like that, feel free to add that in. Completely up to you guys. And then we'll get our external TC built. And build back with the frames, exactly the same as last time. And we'll finish off this gatehouse, getting the roof on, and last 2 frames, don't forget. And those are our external TCs done for just now. And we've got the basing for our wide gaps, so we don't need to worry about that for a little bit while. Right, next up, let's go back over to the main base and start working on that. We'll go ahead and raise our honeycombing up with the rest of the base level just now. It's easier if you upgrade all the back walls and stuff to high qual and metal and stuff like that before you add in this combing, so keep that in mind. But the walls are accessible just by picking up a box. Just don't be lazy and make sure you get them upgraded. All the honeycomb in, and then let's raise up the 2nd floor. We'll start from the mobility chute, that's always where I like to start. 2 walls in the middle, or 3 walls round. And then above our middle wall we'll do a half wall and a window on top. I'm just doing this super early on so people don't forget. That's the kind of thing that I forget when I'm building the base, is something so simple like this. So we're doing it really early on so you guys remember. Then we're going to do a half wall and our door. This is our entrance to our open core. And it's 1.5 height tall, that's why we're starting off with a half wall. Building it up like that. And again, symmetrical, let's do that over here too. And cap it off like that. And then we'll add in the rest of the walls for our open core. So we can start working on that. We can leave out the honeycombing for just now if you're low in materials. Let's just get this second floor safe and all sealed up. Open core is probably the most complex part of the base, so just try and follow along. Again, we're coming up one extra half height, so keep that in mind. Space for boxes underneath those 3 triangles here. And then the middle square is a bedroom. Can add in walls beside our loot rooms. And then we'll get our ramps down. If these are not placing, it's basically because there's something underneath. Could mean that you've placed one of your boxes in the starter a little bit too high up and it's peeking through the floor a bit. It's going to mess with the ramp placement, so that's all you need to do is just pick up the boxes. Shouldn't need to do them all though. Then in the middle we can add in half heights here, and that's where we can place in our furnaces and stuff like that. Add a frame in the middle just to see leveling up, and it looks cool. Add in our door frames for our loot rooms. And also door frames just everywhere else as well that we need them. In the middle there and all along the triangles. Quite a few doors in this open core, so it keeps it nice and strong. We're going to line this section with half walls on top. Half walls on top of our full walls like that. On both sides. And that's because we're going to need to leave room for our ramp peak down and stuff like that. You can get all your floors in, except in the middle section we're going to leave out the triangles and the square. Place in frames so you don't accidentally cover those up, and it just keeps the stability nice and strong. Next we're going to remember where our ramp needs to go. So our ramps peek in towards the single door. You can see that I just motioned towards it there. So we're going to do our ramp over here. And we'll make that metal just so you guys can see a bit better. We're wanting it to point at this single door. Same again, keeping it symmetrical. Another ramp looking towards the single door. In the remaining 2 squares, we're not going to do ramp peek downs, we're going to do our bedroom. However, there's a window at half height that allows us to peek up and ankle bite onto this floor. And then also floor frame those off as well. Next we're going to add in a couple of half walls just to seal in our turret. So that's going to go in there. And make sure you leave it open at the front so that we can have a turret above. Then you can place in all your floors for that level. And I'll do a quick little bit of deployable placement for you guys. That's where the turrets go, and then I'll build one loot room as well. Just so you guys can see exactly how to do it. And then just mimic it across the rest of the base. Just a sneaky trick to get our half height triangles in there. You need to go outside and break that twig later on though. For starters, underneath here we'll place in 3 boxes with a slight angle. You can't do them straight like I usually like to do, just because we don't have much space. And then the same over this side. Try not to mess it up, but if you do, just pick it up, it's not a big deal. There we go, even I messed it up. I'm not a good builder, man. And there you go. Got it second try. Nice one. Slap the beds in the middle of there as well. And your 2 favorite teammates can get a bed in here. Everybody else doesn't matter. Then we'll build up one of the loot rooms. I like to come from behind to do this one. And then you can get your 2 boxes in there. Nice and even. Then 2 above. And then you'll need to jump and place these last 2. But I can fly on the build server, so sucks for you. Boom. That's the loot room built. 3 more of them to do, and in total you'll have 30 boxes in the second floor. Let's go back through to the mobility chutes now and make them a little bit safer and just finish them off. Frames go in, then the half height goes in. Easy jump ups, a couple more frames in there, and then your ladder hatch in the middle and floors. And we'll do it again just in case you missed it. Frames go in first, then your floor, so you don't accidentally place the frame half height higher. Get a ladder hatch in the middle, and your floors. And once the ladder hatches are placed, your second floor is available to use. It's nice and safe. And you can start putting some stuff in the open core if you've filled up the starter base already. And that's me just breaking that extra twig outside that we used to build the loot rooms. And then what I like to do is just raise the honeycombing up. Again, upgrade the walls from the outside, it's a lot easier before you honeycomb. And we'll just go all the way around, raising the honeycombing up to the right height. Alright, boom. Now we've got it to the right level, we can finish off the third floor quickly. And then we're onto our wide gaps. So just copy in the door placement that I do, one in front of the bedroom, just like that. And then that's our entrance to the peek down on that side, towards the window. Then we can raise up to the half height just to match it. There we go. Then our exit out onto shooting floor is a a single door airlock with a window to the right hand side. And then that's all the single doors on that floor, so you can add in your double door frames everywhere else. And then we can wall in our ramp peek down. And lastly, we'll move on to the bedroom, and don't forget there's a roof peak up here, so we're doing half wall then window. That's another thing that's quite easy to forget, so try not to. I've definitely forgotten to do that plenty of times whilst building, so that's your reminder. Try to remember that. I often forget. Then that's that floor done. We can seal it up with some roof tiles. And we're finished there. Add in a small airlock in front of here to cover up the ladder hatch and make it a little bit safer. And the same on this side. And then we're ready to move on to some wide gapping. The wide gaps of this are really simple. There's not any breach peaks or anything like that. So it's as simple as just raising the frames up to the right height. We'll start with the 2 wide gap sections, and we're just raising all the frames up 3 tall. That's one side done, and we'll move around. Get this side finished off as well. And then from the main base, we're also going to add frames leading all the way up along this little mini hexagon here. Again, 3 tall, just like that. And we'll do that on the opposite side, and that's all the frames done for the shooting floor. Not too many, it's not the biggest shooting floor, but of course it's got plenty of angles. It's all you'll need to defend the base. Once all the frames are done, the floors can go in. And we'll place those in now. And then once you've got all the floors in, we can place the window frames that go around the perimeter of the base. So we'll start getting those windows down now. And the same on the opposite side. And then in between we're going to do a bedroom, so it's not windows, it's going to be half walls and then windows on top of that. We'll get the frames in first on the left and right, and then in between, what I was just talking about, half walls with windows. That just makes the bedroom a bit safer, and then we can use the half walls or the half height windows from above. There we go. And then get a door and a window in there just so you can check and see if anyone's inside the shooting floor when you spawn in. Just get a glass window on there. And then before we start sealing anything up, we're going to need to do our ladder hatches and our roof peak ups as well. You can cap off the bedrooms, they're safe enough to seal up. And then beside our shooting floor, remember we've got those hidden boxes, so make sure you place in those squares exactly as I'm doing, with a gap to the left hand side in between the wide gaps. And then now finally we can go on to what I was talking about. Here's the ladder hatch to exit, and a frame in there for our roof peak up as well. Boom. And now you guys are safe enough to seal up the roof. Making sure we're placing those squares in exactly as I do. Now we're having a gap towards the main base as opposed to the wide gaps. And that is important as well for placing roof ramps, so make sure you do it the same as me. Then we can add in some frames inside the shooting floor underneath our triangle ladder hatch frames, just to separate it up and add a bit of stability and strength to the base. And you'll get your siren lights in there as well, so you can jump up and peek up. Okay, next we can build our roof exits. It's just a simple set of windows with a double door to cover the ladder hatch. And we'll build 2 of those. Then our roof peek up also gets turned into a turret pod. You can see we've got space above it for a turret, so you can seal it in like that. And then we're basically done on the roof now. We're going to add in a couple of roof ramps on the left and right. Start with the one in the middle off of the main base, and then the one on the left and right are going to come from the wide gaps, but I'll show you the 2 options. So you can see that's how we want to place it. Got a gap there, and then if we place it wrong, you can see the conditional lines up. So we do not want the conditional to activate, so we're going to place it on the wide gap, and then we get a nice gap that we can use. Then we'll replicate that over here. So the middle one on the main base, and then the other 2 are going to come from the wide gaps. Then over here, we can place in a window on the left and right. That's so we can place in our boxes for later on, inside of the hidden part of the shooting floor. And then we're going to seal in this hexagon here with a 1 door that leads out the way. And we can match the height with half walls on this end as well. So remember, we've got a bedroom up on this floor. And it just allows us to defend the roof a lot easier if we have these respawns above. So you can build in that bedroom off to the side there with the 2 triangles, enough space for 1 bed and 1 locker on each end. And you can get a couple of bags as well inside the hexagon. Place in a couple of floors over the bedroom and then just make a little turret pod kind of thing. And you can get it looking like a castle, which is pretty cool. Seal it all the way around. And now all that's left to do is place in a couple more square roofs. These are going to go in here to seal up the little boxes. So we need to place those from underneath. That's the easiest way. And you can see I'm just doing it like that. And they should make the conditional. And it should look quite cool if you place them both from the wide gapped window frames. And there's 8 of them in total to place. And then in order to get those sneaky boxes in, you can either try and place it like here. You will get a bit of a weird angle on it. Or just place something to stand on, and then you should be able to slap 2 boxes in there. 1 small, 1 big. And then those are accessible from inside the shooting floor or on the roof. It's a lot easier once you get the ramp down. Make sure you place these ramps as well so that you can crouch and use your windows still. And you can access your boxes from here, and they're kind of hidden away, you know. Easy depot for a little bit of M2 roof camping or whatever you want to do up there. And then we'll go around and place all the ramps because that just reminded me to do that now. All these ramps super useful so we can crouch inside our shooting floor. And then boom, that's basically the main base done. We'll get a couple of windmills on top. And then we can move on to the compound. Of course, the compound could have been tackled at any point. Maybe you want to get it down earlier than this, but it's completely up to you. Nothing's stopping you guys from getting the compound down much earlier on if you'd prefer. A couple of windmill towers if you need more than 2. That's perfectly fine. There's still plenty of space on the roof. But yeah, main base kind of done now. Let's move on to some compound stuff. We'll go ahead and build our breach peak first. The breach peak comes off of the main base. It's not too expensive. It doesn't add too much to upkeep, so don't worry. And this all helps to place in your high walls because there's all these connections to keep it nice and symmetrical. So we build our breach peak, half wall, windows on top. Make sure you place that low wall that I'm standing on. That is what connects it and makes sure it doesn't decay. so that's important, don't forget that. And then you can get floors on top so we can fit a barricade on here to make sure no one comes inside the compound. Then get some horizontal embrasures in there, and that's one breach peak done. We can move on to the next one now. Same thing again, don't forget that low wall, that's what connects it, super important. And our roofs. And then lastly, a spot to place our barricades on top. Now that we've done our breach peaks, we're going to build 4 bedrooms inside the compound as well. The bedrooms are 1 square and 1 triangle big, allowing for 2 beds and a locker. It's the exact same thing, 4 times in a row. Alright, that's all the bedrooms placed and all the bedrooms and the gatehouses. So now it's really easy to just get some wooden high walls down or some stone, whatever you prefer. From the gatehouse to the bedrooms, it's just a straight one wall to seal it up. Leave some space onto the bedroom side. You don't want to stop the locker placement, so don't have any wall peeking through into the single door section, because that's going to stop you from being able to place your locker, and that's not what you want. Then it's a 2 wall to seal up this next gap. From the breach peak to the bedroom, 2 walls to seal that up. Starting from the single door and then leading into the window like that. Easy peasy. And then same again, we don't want it to peek through too much to where our locker would be. And then you guys get the gist of it, just repeat it all the way along the rest of the compound. As for your barricades, again, it's pretty simple. You'll need some wood to do a bit of a build out. On top of the bedrooms, it's as simple as just placing a square. And then on top of the gate, we're going to do 2 squares coming off the side and then having them angled in like this. Should only need 2 to cover that gap. And that's a bedroom again, and I'll show you a breach peak as well. Get a couple of build outs on that. And then just one in the middle should be fine. And that's all you need for barricade placement, and just replicate that around the rest of the compound. And then once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully you boys and girls have enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please feel free to leave me a like, drop me a comment down below. If you guys need any help, remember we have a Discord in the description that you can join, where me or some other expert builders can help you out. I'd really appreciate it if any of you guys go ahead and purchase one of the mouse mats. I'm using it right now, I honestly really love it, and obviously it would help out the channel a ton as well. So check that out. As I teased before, there will be a stress testing video out on this base pretty shortly, so keep an eye out for that. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you in a bit.